Michiao.
Aquaba.
My mama named me Nayoka, but my day name is Akuya.
And our sister named me Stacey Ann, but my day name is Abana. And we have a mic.
We are sisters who grew up in different households, but happen to share careers as healthcare professionals and corporate America veterans. But this is not that.
In this space, we invite you to listen in on our candid conversations.
We are intentional about keeping a chill vibe as we talk about culture, family, and community with a common thread of spirit.
We are Jamaican born, American living, Akoma embracing women, reflecting on our journeys that have brought us to where we are today.
This platform is a safe space for those young ones who are seeking these conversations to help them as they navigate their journey.
So pick up your feet, grab a snack, something to drink as we talk about
a little bit of this
and a little bit of that.
Holla! Nah, not really. Peace. Happy day.
All right. So what are we talking about today? Tonight. This fine January evening. Is there a song that talks about that? Is that a City Girl song? City Girls Up?
City Girl. I don't know. What title say?
Who that? Is that? Oh, we're going there. Okay, let's do some research. First of all, it is. It's a City Girls track.
City Girls.
No, that's not that.
It's the catchiness of it. It is in perfect alignment with the topic. No. Going.
Okay. So, tell me about your flute out experience, where it all began.
Why don't you go first?
Sure. So, let's start out by saying that my first flute out experience was coming to Florida for the first time from Jamaica. And it was a summer trip. And
why are we saying we got flute out?
We're saying we got flute out because as children, we migrated to America from Jamaica. And we didn't have a say. Like nobody asked my opinion. I vividly remember saying, I do not want to go. Don't want to go. Don't make me go. All of my friends, all of my family, I don't want to go. But we went. Here we are. Now I'm grateful because I know that my life would have been completely different. So that there's that. But as an 8, 9-year-old child, it was not a warm and fuzzy experience. What was a warm and fuzzy experience was getting out your Jamaica because they still gave you a whole meal, like pineapple upside down cake,
ackee and sawfish,
full service flight, and it wasn't for everybody. Got the whole like curry chicken, rice and peas. It was nice.
Curry chicken and rice and peas is the best.
Yeah, especially on Air Jamaica. Remember they had real silverware?
Ackee and sawfish and rice and peas is good too.
Real silverware.
Yes, they did. They had real silverware.
Real little mug and tray. Anyhow,
we digress.
I remember we got picked up from the airport and I was like, this place looks nothing like what I've heard them say.
Who picked you up from the airport?
Our cousin. Who was it? It must have been like Lenny or Maxine or something like that. I picked us up from the airport.
Shouts out to our Miami cousin.
Hey, but I was like, they were dirty, like
It's dirty.
But you know, like you get
Acting
told,
like they're not dirty places in Jamaica. Oh,
no, but it's not that. It was this whole idea of you're going to foreign and the road is painful and all of
ah.
this
Now this is a different
amazingness.
thing. This is a different thing.
It's
Yes.
so amazing. And it was really cool to see really big highways and overpasses, but it didn't look like all the stories I had heard. And I was a little underwhelmed.
Oh, it didn't look like heaven.
No, but it was cool that you could go to supermarket and like I remember there was something I wanted to try and somebody picked it up and was like, "Oh, you can have it." I was like, "But we didn't pay for it." They're like, "No, you can try it and see if you want it." I was like, "Oh, this place is cool." This is
Try
very
it.
yeah, it
Because
was like a
Costco,
great or like a kiwi or
you
something
can
like that.
try it
Yeah, pick
in
it
the
up.
supermarket.
Yes, girl, this is
And
my
it wasn't
experience.
Costco?
No. Was there a
Mm.
Costco then? This was like back in circa
Anyway,
Eckerd.
we digress. We
Anyway,
digress.
yeah,
We
sorry.
digress.
Anywho, it was very
Eckerd. Okay, okay, okay. We digress.
it was it was challenging, but it was really cool because it was a different place. It was all of these different experiences, but I was a little Jamaican girl now plopped in America. That's how it felt because um going to school the first day, I was in an office taking placement tests. I didn't know that. I've never seen a Scantron in my life. I was just bubbling after a while because I was like, I'm done. And this was the test to place me
Oh, wow.
in like, there was no explanation of
Wow.
what was happening.
Oh, they didn't explain anything to you?
No.
Foreign girl?
And kids are cruel. And it took a while to get my bearings. And I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
But we were here and this is what we did. What made it a little bit easier was that there was family around. So like on Sundays we would go here and there, but living in an apartment, taking a school bus, becoming a latchkey kid and having to like hide my key around my neck on a shoelace, it was just completely different from somebody like walking out the gate at Linstead All Age and Auntie Donna was there or Benny or somebody or Louie picked me up from school and walk. You know, it was just it was different and it was a time where as a young girl.
So we have to say Benny, Lewin, Auntie
family.
Donna,
It was
all
our
family members in Jamaica.
Mhm.
Either family by blood or family because they were just so close to us
Mhm.
that we couldn't even differentiate.
Right. Right. And it was challenging to leave that type of community and connectedness and knowing knowing people in the community, being known in the community to go to a place where everything was far apart. You couldn't just go outside and walk down the street and you were here, there.
Nobody knew you.
And
or who your family was.
Yeah.
In Jamaica, everybody knows like which yard you come from.
Yeah,
Which family you come from.
I miss some granddad's side, you know? It was a different experience. And for me at 9, 10, 11, starting to have an understanding of just how the world works and it being so abrasive was really jarring for me. And I didn't have the words, I didn't have the language to say that that was my experience. And trying to have an understanding of who you are and where you fit, I saw a lot of ugliness and nastiness and that being rewarded. So I was like, okay, that means that for me to be accepted here, I have to be ugly and nasty. And it, I mean, that's what it was, but it shouldn't have been like that.
Mm-hmm.
So migration was confusing for me. Yeah.
Okay, so migration in the context of moving from another country here to America. What about migration within the United States of America? Do you have that experience?
I do now. We were in Florida for 27 years. I didn't live outside of South Florida. Either I lived in Miami or I lived in Palm Beach or I was in Broward. That was like that what
In
100
Broward County.
Broward County. That 100-mile like loop. It wasn't until last year that we actually moved and left Florida. To go down south, up south, because now we're in the south, right?
Go up
We're
south.
really in the south.
You really in the South now.
In the south.
Florida is not the
Now
South.
we're in Byron. We were in
Well,
Jamaica.
South Florida is not the South.
It's not America.
Southern America.
Now we're in Byron. Now we're in America. And I had a lot of I won't say a lot. I had some feelings come up as a time drew closer to actually move that I remembered when we were getting ready to come to the States. And that
Really?
yeah, that I was surprised. I was surprised.
Was it because you know the history of down south?
Not
or
it had everything to do with me and leaving the place that you know. And for me, that is a level of comfort that I clutched. And I would say, I'm never going to leave Florida. Like if I leave Florida, I'm going back to Jamaica. That's it. So to now come out of my comfort zone and pick up my son and my mama. Hey, let's go do this thing. I had thoughts like, what if it doesn't work? What if we don't like it? What do you do then? Because you have already kind of severed ties in a way with your old home, preparing for this new home. But thankfully, I had better understanding and context. We were very clear as to why we were doing it. I was involved in this. I was the decision maker, I guess, but it's different when you are involved and you understand the why and you can think about it. And I had a lot of support. And this was something that we planned for years. In hindsight, our family planned for years to move to the United States, but I was a child, so I wasn't involved in that. So I was very intentional in the conversations that I had with Yasir, with my son, in preparation to move. I was very intentional in that. And even when after we had decided on where we were moving to, making sure that he would come so he would see and he would know and ask him questions to help him know the reason why we were moving and help to teach him that, we move as a family. Sometimes there's opportunity. Sometimes you're looking for peace. Sometimes we're looking to grow. And this is what it looks like. To give him context for him to use when he's older and he's making those decisions. But I try to approach it in a way that I think that my inner child would have liked to be involved. I don't know if he received it like that.
I love to hear it. Those are the steps towards being intentional and considerate with our children. I want to ask the question, what tools did you have in your migration within the United States that you did not have when you migrated from Jamaica to the United States? And when I say tools, I mean, what tools, systems, what did you have in place in order to navigate your decision making, in order to navigate how you were going to approach things? Did you have?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Living at home. What is that called? But we'll get there. But spiritually, in what I have learned so far in being able to study is that when you're making decisions that are so big, you not only involve your physical family that's here, but you involve your ethereal family. You involve spirit, you involve your ancestors. There's divination that's done.
Okay, hold on.
Well,
Yes.
You
Yes,
asked
I
about the
did.
tools.
I did.
Okay, I'm sorry. I went
And
too
so,
far, too
yeah,
deep,
yeah.
too fast.
We're
Sorry.
using words that we're not ready to use yet. They just filling us out. They just getting to know us.
Okay.
We'll get there. We promise. um, but spiritually, you had spiritual tools that you utilized.
Yes.
Okay. All right, cool. We'll get there. Trust and believe.
Yeah. So it made it less jarring. It made it set a pace and a tone for moving. And it just helped me prepare myself emotionally and spiritually and physically to be able to take on, this part of the journey. So I think my experience as a child really helped me to put into perspective what I wanted this experience to be and any future experiences. I know that they will feel better to me. So, same question. we'll run it back. What was your experience like migrating from Jamaica?
So, just looking at similarities and differences between your move and my move. Mm-hmm. Of course, I think we need to give a little backstory here.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Because I moved to the United States when I was about 3-4 years old. And I moved with my mom and my bonus dad. But when you were moving from Jamaica, you moved with your mom and our dad. Mm-hmm. So we share fathers and different mothers. Mm-hmm. So the times of migration were different. I migrated from Jamaica in my toddler years.
I wasn't even a thought.
Right. I got news. Oh, yeah, my sister. I was like, oh, snap, for real. I got news, phone call. Okay. You have a sister. So for me, it was the move was so traumatic that I don't remember my first plane ride. I don't remember my family. I didn't remember my family at all. At all. I had no memories of Jamaica. So everything that I know about me as a toddler, like I was told. I was told that I went to basic school. Oh, you've been going to school since you were 2. Like I was told that. I have no memories of that. I was told about my life in Jamaica. I don't remember a thing. I don't remember being taken to the airport. I don't remember my family, sending us off. I've seen pictures. I've seen pictures of that day, which were very comforting. My uncle, my aunts, my cousin, who was about my age. We all went they all came to the airport to send off, my mom and I. I don't remember meeting my bonus father before moving. Like, I don't remember any of that. So therein, it was very traumatic for me. I was reintroduced to everyone at the age of 9 or 10. when my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, met in a car accident, a bus accident, country bus accident. And my mom took myself and my younger sister back to Jamaica. And that's when I met everyone again. So I walked, we 10 East Avenue, that's our address in Jamaica. So I walked into 10 East Avenue to faces that I had never seen before in my mind. So I remember grandma saying, "You don't remember me?" And I said, "No, I don't know who you are. I didn't know Daddy. I didn't know Nini, your mom. I didn't know anybody. They were all complete strangers to me. I didn't know our sister, Jelan. Like, I didn't know her at all." So migration from Jamaica to the United States was very traumatic for my little spirit. Words, forget it.
Right.
I can't describe it. My memories begin in kindergarten at a PS 73 in the Bronx, up the street from Yankee Stadium on Anderson Avenue. My memories begin there. And those memories were not pleasant ones because I remember being teased because of my accent. I remember this one little boy texted on me, "Oh, he liked me," and all this type of stuff. And it was, and those things stayed with me. I remember my kindergarten teacher saying, "Oh, she raised her hands for everything. She talks too much," from kindergarten on my report card. Very talkative, every single grade. I couldn't change it from kindergarten. Very talkative. But for someone who had been going to basic school from the year two,
you would expect that.
Right. So they didn't know. I don't think they cared.
That too.
I was 4 and I was supposed to be in kindergarten. So that's where they placed me. But the things that apparently that we were learning in kindergarten, I already knew. And that frustrated my teacher. Really, really frustrated my teacher. This white lady who obviously didn't want to give me my props.
Recommend you for gifted.
Oh, we're in the South Bronx.
That's not a thing, huh?
Not for that school. But that school, that's a whole nother show. So we're talking about migration. Let's keep it. So that was my experience leaving Jamaica and coming to the United States. Now, I asked you about migration within America because it has happened for me so many times. So after high school, I left New York and I went to college in South Florida.
You skipping? You came to Jamaica.
Oh, snap. Oh, what? I'm skipping. Okay. So, how do I segue into that? In high school, I had some troubled times. I really did. And socially, I struggled. And so I struggled to, I don't want to say fit in. But I had too much freedom because we took the train when I left or graduated junior high school. I had to take the train to my high school, A. Philip Randolph High School. That was my first high school. And it was a few stops on the C train. to get there. So I had too much freedom and I was not used to that. I went to town on the freedom. So my schoolwork suffered, and my bonus dad and my mom decided that the best thing for me at that time, about age 14, was for me to go to Jamaica. Oh, and go to school and live with my dad and my bonus mom. Why do you use the term bonus mom and bonus dad? Those are new terms.
They not new.
That's another show. Mm-hmm. Let's stay focused.
Let's stay focused.
Migration. So went to Jamaica, culture shock. And that's code for I ain't used to this. We had to travel from our home in St. Catherine, Linstead, St. Catherine, to school in Kingston. That was a trek.
Yeah.
Okay, we had to cross Flat Bridge.
Oh, gosh. I still can't manage Flat Bridge.
Sometime the river came down and it flooded, and we had to take a back road called Barry Road.
Barry, yeah. Oh my gosh.
And that was torture for me, who's used to a train ride in the city.
Not real potholes.
Not real potholes. Nah. Just train delays. You know what I mean? Not potholes like this. I mean, I don't even know how the bus got around. There was no road. Anywho, again, we digress. Migration. So there were so many different variables. I went from a very enclosed nuclear family to people everywhere. Like, there were eyes everywhere. Everybody could see you. Everybody could see you. If I turned down a street, my dad would know before I knew that I turned down the street. I mean, totally community involvement, what we would call a big yard, with people who, were just with us. They lived with us. They communed with us. They protected us. And I had the time of my life. My mom thought she was punishing me. Enjoyment. It was so enjoyment. Because that type of living was so enriching to my spirit. It really was. And then I had to come back to New York, finish up high school. So this is the third high school. And I finished up in the Bronx. And it was an adjustment, but to something familiar. So it wasn't as traumatic at that time. But I went to a school in the Bronx that was closer to my home and not all the way in Manhattan, where the first high school was. A. Philip Randolph High School is on City College campus. We lived in a different area of the Bronx. So when I came back, my family in New York was adjusted to our new home. When I left, we had just moved into that home.
Okay.
So there's that. Thank you for reminding me about that part, because my mind just went totally to South Florida. I left New York to go to college in South Florida, and that was different. It seemed like I was driving a stick shift, and I went down a gear from fifth gear down to fourth gear.
Coming down to Florida.
Yeah. The pace was different. People were different. Again, being able to have more freedom at that age, because at that age I was 18, 19, the cusp of young adulthood. College was interesting. Then after a while, I got married, I had children, some years had gone by, and then my husband and I and our children moved to Alabama. Again, shifting down to third year.
You sure?
Oh, maybe it was first. From fourth year to first year, because it is different here. Huge difference between South Florida and here. So I asked you about tools.
Yes. I was just gonna be like, so
down the same question path that I asked you. But moving here to Alabama, knowing the history, like when I told my mom and my other siblings that we were moving to Alabama, they said, "What?"
I remember. I was like, "You going to Bama? What? You gonna be a Bama?
You're going to where they hung Black people?
Yeah. Are you sure?
You're going where they're still flying Confederate flags? Are you sure you want to go there?" But the tools that I had spiritually, the support that we had physically, emotionally, and spiritually allowed the move to be a very positive one. Moving here has been a positive move because I'm able to appreciate the earth that we walk on. I'm able to appreciate all of the beautiful landscape and the medicine, the trees, the herbs. I've had an opportunity to cultivate a garden. I mean, coming here has opened up my ability to listen. It has opened up my ability to be still. Before I moved, when I moved from New York, I was just introduced to African spirituality. I had just been exposed, but the tools were not developed and they were not mature. So college was a beast. I'm going to keep repeating that. But the tools that I had to move here to Alabama helped me and my spirit to be grounded. So to move anywhere else, as far as my eyes can see, because only the ancestors can see as far as only, the guardian beings can see further than I can see. But with the tools that I have now, I feel like wherever I move, wherever I go, my spirit is so grounded that I'll be able to be flexible and to adjust. And that is definitely a learning curve. Yeah. But once you learn it, you're able to finesse it and work it into your life in a way where you feel protected and you feel like, I can flow just like the rivers. Where we live now is called the river region. There's a reason why we live here in terms of water, and water being life and water holding messages through the beginning of time, from the beginning of time until now, and being able to tap into that has really been a beautiful thing.
So in all of the ways that you have moved and you have migrated, now that you have children to move and migrate with, how did you help them coming up from Florida to
How did I help them?
Yeah.
How did they help me?
Well,
what about that?
Well, let's hear.
If it was up to me, I would probably still be in South Florida.
Right. You're right. You would still be.
What happened? My oldest son said, "Mommy, I miss Daddy. And I don't want to forget him." I'll never forget the day that he said those words and they came to my ears, because that's when I said, okay, let's go. Because, my husband being in a different place than where we were, um, it was a challenge. We had help, and I'm grateful for that help. But there's nothing like having your spouse close to you, especially when you have smaller children. So here's the other dynamic, right? Moving in America without your spouse, um, it definitely was a challenge. But the children helped to keep me grounded, because I looked at them and, I said, okay, this is just something that we have to do for now, and it can change. In retrospect, was I thinking about myself? I was not. People will say, oh, in this great time of self-care, when everything is about self-care, and making sure you do what you want to do in your heart, what pleases your spirit. That it's hard. It's not easy. And so we had to do the same thing in terms of consulting, in terms of ritual. And that is what was missing when I migrated from Jamaica to the United States, and even from New York to Florida, and the trips back and forth from Jamaica. Definitely, there was no ritual involved. There was no talking and strategizing involved for me, because I didn't make a conscious decision to move until my young adulthood, 18, 19. So again, the similarities to your story. There was no ritual. And I think when you introduce ritual into your life, transitions become easier.
Yes. 100%.
Because you have the discussion period, you have the research period. You take that research to the ancestors, to the Nsamanfo. You say, this is what we have here. This is the responsible way to do it.
Yes.
Some people do not do it this way, but this is how we were taught to do it.
This is how we know that it should be done.
Okay. You do your research first. You don't go to the ancestors empty-headed. Empty-handed.
What you want to do. Yeah.
Without thoroughly thinking through what it is that you want to do. All right. Once you have the research in your back pocket, then they will say, okay, you can ask me your questions. And you ask the questions and you talk to your elders, and then you make the steps one by one by one. And of course, this is a general overview.
Right.
But ritual is something that was key to my moving from South Florida to Alabama, and wherever else I move to will include ritual. Which will make the transition easier. Easier. I'm saying easier, but will make the transition more stable.
Groundation.
TM. Yeah, that ritual component is a gem.
Yeah, I'll add where my experience with leaving South Florida is different is that as a mother and a single woman.
She's single, y'all.
No, not like that. Married.
That's another episode.
On the next episode. Hey.
Okay, Dr. J.
No, but having to explain to my son that we were leaving the area where his father is was challenging. But the guidance that we received by asking the questions of how to prepare and doing the rituals to prepare helped make a challenging situation not feel overwhelming. And it gave us a roadmap of what to do and how to manage. For my nuclear family is me, my mom, Yasir, and me. That's the triad. And wanting to take the next step for the family, right? Nini's retired. She want dirt. She want to bake. She wants our garden. Want
dirt.
Yeah. That downshift, like you said, from a 4 to a 2 to a 1 was really the goal. And there were sacrifices that needed to be made, like moving away from family to a new place, having to deal with people that we care about that weren't so supportive, because not everyone is always supportive. There's so many things to consider and to navigate, but we were able to do it and feel good about what we were doing and why we were doing it. And in the decision, was there some self? Yeah, there was some self, but really we talked about what we would like for our nuclear family. We talked about what it would look like. And for me, as a woman and a mother to a young boy, I knew what I needed to do to maintain and sustain our family, but also what will put us in a better position to be able to know and actualize legacy and be able to make those moves that will allow us to find more ease, to help us to be able to take the time to connect and ground and grow the way that we want to. So sometimes you got to make those big girl decisions. They're not always easy, but like you said, ritual helps to make it, even helps to define some of the questions that we had to ask ourselves before we would even get any more guidance. Like, it's like school, having really
like
good
you had
teachers.
to complete step 1
Yeah.
before you could go to step 2.
Yeah.
And if you did not complete step 1, you could not go on to step 2.
You could. But we're not going to do that.
Not with our Bosum, not with our guardian beings, not with our,
no, we're not gonna do that.
Do you have free will? Yes, absolutely.
Do you, boo?
But then don't come back crying,
right? Because
they will look at you like,
is that a next episode? Are we still on migration?
Oh, okay. Thank you. Because we digress.
So in summation, migration in our experiences have been traumatic, varying degrees, but still jarring. However, experience has helped us to be able to utilize tools that have made subsequent migrations not traumatic.
Yeah. We definitely gained some tools that are foundational now in our living. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And I think one of the most beautiful parts of it is being able to share those tools with our family, with our children, so that we can sever the trauma cord and strengthen the cord that allows us to be grounded and allows us to make moves as a family, make moves as individuals that just feed us and not take from us.
Yeah, I must say though that even with those tools, I know that being away from family was very difficult for our oldest son. I enjoy the fact that family has come to visit us so much. Our house now sometimes doesn't feel empty. We have downtime when it's only us in the house, but trust and believe in a few months, somebody's coming to visit. And that also makes living here easier because our family, both, spiritual family and physical family, they just support us. And that took work. That continues to take work. But they are there and they are supportive and they are our community. And even though we are far away, it doesn't really feel like it. Every single day, it doesn't feel like it.
And the reality is that there are beautiful places here in Alabama. Beautiful places,
absolutely beautiful places. I mean, breathtaking places. Just driving from where we live in the Montgomery area, you drive an hour up the road and Birmingham is just like, wow, the mountains, the caves. They even have whitewater rapids up there. I've never been, but I've been told there's whitewater rapids. Even in our nearby community here, there's a huge reservoir and dam, and in that area there are lakes, there are trails to walk. Like, the nature is awesome here.
The nature's on 1,000.
It is on 1,000, and that helps us to stay connected and grounded because we go outside. We go outside in the winter months, not so much. But luckily, the winters are short here. So, all in all, we talked about migration to the United States. We talked about migration within the United States. I think we touched on a lot.
All right, last question. One word answer.
I don't like those. Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
Would you rather be somewhere else right now? Would you migrate tomorrow to somewhere else?
Yeah. And a question that is.
All right. Well, is that it? Because the mic is hot. The mic is smoking.
I hope our audience feels that way. Because we just did some time traveling.
Yeah. Some good food for the soul.
Yeah. And so if you are facing the struggles of migration, or if you realize that migration was traumatic for your family, there are so many things that you can do in order to reset that. And we definitely can provide some resources in the comment section so that you can reach out and be able to get the support that you need. We can definitely provide you that. And, reply in the comments. Let us know if this was helpful.
If it resonated with you. Fresh.
Let us know if you vibe with it in the comments.
See, now you vibe.
We reserve that right to vibe.
We do.
Amen.
All right.
Peace.
Boom. It's finished. Don't look at the time. You're gonna drop down. Don't look at the time.